Happy day, students. Today I am going to deal with Unit 5, 5th poem. Everest is not the only peak, written by Kulothungan, Part 2. Now let's see the poetic devices for the poem Everest is not the only peak. Okay, you see the first line, we are proud and feel so tall. It is repeated in 4 stanzas. Okay, first stanza, first line. So it is repetition. In the second stanza, 4th line. Last line, you see second stanza. We are proud and feel so tall. And in the third stanza, we don't have. But 4th stanza, you see last line. We are proud and feel so tall. Okay, then 5th stanza, last line. We are proud and feel so tall. So, how many times? 4 times it is repeated. So, what is the figure of speech here? Repetition. And already we don't have any rhyming scheme or rhyming words. Okay. So, no rhyming scheme at all. Okay. Now, we shall see the other figures of speech. You see the 4th line, devotion deep. 4th line, devotion deep. It is alliteration. D, D. Okay. Then alliteration we have in the third stanza, we see we deem it our duty. First line you see, we deem it our duty. Deem, duty. It is alliteration. Then moving on to third stanza, hold humble. Hold in the fourth stanza you see, fourth stanza you see, hold humble. Okay. Then the previous line, proud of the position, proud position. So, these are alliterated words. And if you find some more also, you are very clever. Now, moving on to the next figure of speech. Second stanza, you see, courage, first line, courage, our fort. So, courage is like our fort. Courage is like our fort. This is metaphor. Okay, what's the figure of speech? Courage of fort. It is metaphor. Then we have another metaphor in 5th stanza. You see, 5th stanza, 4th line you see, he who does not stoop is a king we adore. He who does not stoop is a king we adore. This is metaphor. Okay, then moving on to this 4th stanza you see, 3rd line and 4th line, starting you see ours. Okay, our pride, ours is a path. So, this is anaphora. In the first, if there is repeating of words, that means it is anaphora. A-N-A-P-H-O-R-A. Then we have in the last stanza you see, second line. Every hillock has a summit to boast. So, here every hillock also is a small, it is a small mountain. Then you have small hill. So, it has a summit to boast. Boasting activity will be done only by human beings. So, this figure of speech is personification. Okay. So, has a summit to boast. Telling so much about themselves, or they are talking about themselves. So, this is personification. Okay. Then you see, move on down, you see, are really the ladder for the rise of man. Last but 4th line you see, are really the ladder for the rise of man. So, like the ladder, no? So, it is metaphor. Okay, really the ladder. Like or as is hidden means it is metaphor. So, figure of speech is metaphor here. Next one you see, next line, honor is a property. So, this is also metaphor. So, dear students, I have told you all the poetic devices. Hope you have understood. Now, we shall move on to the book back exercises. You can see in page 158, read the given lines and answer the questions that follow. First one, our nature, it is that whatever we try, we do with devotion, deep and true. Question A, who does we refer to? The term we refers to people, that is we ourselves. Okay, B. How should we carry out our duties? We should carry out our work with deep devotion. Second one, defeat we repel, courage our foot. Question A. How do we react to defeat? We hate defeat. B. Which is considered to be our stronghold? Courage is considered to be our stronghold. Moving on to question 3. We are proud of the position we hold, humble as we are. So A. What is the speaker proud of? The speaker is proud of the position he holds in the society. B. How is the speaker both humble and proud? The speaker is proud of holding his position, but at the same time he is humble before others. C. Pick out the alliteration in these lines. Already we have seen proud position. You have to take and underline PP. Okay. Fourth one. He who does not stoop is a king we adore. We bow before competence and merit. Question A. Who is adored as a king? One who does not stoop in his movement towards achievement is adored. What is the figure of speech used in the first line? It is metaphor. Moving on to fifth one. Honor is our property, common to all. In dignity and pride, no one need to be poor. Question A. Who are considered rich? Those who lead an honorable and dignified life are considered to be rich. Question B. What is their asset? Honor is their asset. Now we shall move on to explain the following lines with reference to the context, that is ERC. First one. To seek a gain, we adore none. We are proud and feel so tall. See reference, these lines are taken from the poem Everest is not the only peak, written by Professor Kurandisamy. And context here, the poet, he mentions these lines that we should not adore anyone to seek gain. Okay, explanation. Professor V.C. Kurandisamy, known as Kulothungan, was an eminent technologist and a man of letters. In his poem, Everest is not the only peak, he enumerates why an ordinary man's achievement should also be appreciated and accounted. We should have courage to face any situation. We should never bow down before others for any unnecessary favors. Just to gain something, we should not show respect to anybody. Okay, second one. We deem it our duty and mission in life to bless and praise the deserving ones. So reference, you see these lines are taken from the poem Everest is not the only peak, written by Professor Kurandisamy. And context, you see the poet mentions here that we should do our duty to bless and we should praise the deserving ones only. Moving on to explanation, Professor V.C. Kurandisamy, known as Kulothungan, was an eminent technologist and a man of letters. In his poem Everest is not the only peak, he enumerates why an ordinary man's achievement should also be appreciated and accounted. We should bless and praise those who do praiseworthy activities in the society. We have to take this as our duty and mission in this world. Such people's accomplishments should never be forgotten. Moving to third one. Never shall we fall in what we commit, shall nourish the ones that nourish the world. Reference, these lines are taken from the poem Everest is not the only peak, written by Professor Kurandisamy. Okay, the context is that he is saying that we should try to nourish the ones who are nourishing the world. Explanation. Professor V.C. Kurandisamy, known as Kulothungan, was an eminent technologist and a man of letters. In his poem Everest is not the only peak, he enumerates why an ordinary man's achievement should also be appreciated and accounted. We should never fail to accomplish what we promise in the world. We should appreciate someone who helps the growth and development of others. Fourth one, our pride springs from the way we live. Ours is the path of dignity and honor. So reference is, these lines are taken from the poem Everest is not the only peak, written by Professor Kurandisamy. So context is, the poet mentions that though we are proud of the positions we hold, we are so humble. So we see here Professor Kozhandeswamy, known as Kulothungan, was an eminent technologist and a man of letters. In his poem, Everest is not the only peak, he enumerates why an ordinary man's achievement should also be appreciated and accounted. Our pride does not come from our achievements, it comes from the way we lead our life in the society. Our way should be dignified and honorable. So, moving to the last one, Everest is not the only peak. Every hillock has a summit to boast. So, these lines are taken from the poem Everest is not the only peak, written by Professor Kozhandeswamy. And context is, a hillock stands for a small hill which has a summit to boast. Okay, so here explanation you see, Professor V.C. Kozhandeswamy, known as Kulothungan, was an eminent technologist and a man of letters. In his poem, Everest is not the only peak, he enumerates why an ordinary man's achievement should also be appreciated and accounted. Everest may be the tallest peak, but there are other peaks also. Those who try to reach those peaks without stopping their attempt should also be praised. Climbing Everest is not the only achievement. Even climbing a small hillock is also an achievement. Every small action has a success behind it. It does not matter what height we reach in the society. One who does not bend before others to gain favors will be respected as a king. So, dear students, hope you have understood the poem, and we shall see the rest in the next class. So, with this I complete the poem. Thank you.